All right. Hello, my trigger happy friends. Welcome to a very special second year anniversary podcast, Film Trigger podcast, because July 4th will be, or is, by the time you are hearing this, our second anniversary. It's even special because it's also Seth Draven, my son's 16th birthday celebration, which his birthday was last week, but we were unable to celebrate it at this house then, so he is here now. Seth, say hello.
Hello.
Keep it simple. Good man.
You told me to say hello.
And all that rambling you heard at the beginning was, or maybe you didn't hear that rambling. I recorded a very special something at the beginning of this from our friends that are sitting over here because we are outside by a fire pit. I'll post a picture of that. If you look right now, you can see us outside by a fire pit for this very special anniversary. And we have friends. We're having drinks. Not Seth because he's 16, but we are not responsible adults.
So kind of Seth.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is drinking water, so that's good. Technically, yes, technically he's having a drink.
9:30, so give it time.
Okay, well, let's just edit that out so we don't have child services called again.
Again?
So, what is going on in the world of movies, my friend?
Well, it was revealed the other day that they are making a brand new CG animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie with Point Grey Pictures' Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is making a Ninja Turtles movie.
Okay, so what I heard was immediately they're making a Ninja Turtles movie that no one ever wanted.
Yeah.
Another CGI one. No one wants a CGI Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest though, the one we already have
It's good.
is good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But everyone wants the live action one.
Yeah.
They're not doing the live action one. They're doing the CGI one, which is shitty. I thought that's my first initial reaction. Like, oh, great, that's like secondhand Ninja Turtling, right? But then they add in that Seth Rogen is producing this thing. The guy who produced Sausage Party, the movie I watched with you when you were 15.
Oh,
because,
no. Yeah.
How old were you?
13, I think.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez, yeah. So what does that mean exactly? I mean, Nickelodeon's part of it, right?
Yes.
And they own the rights to the characters, I think, now.
Yeah.
Who else is produced in this? Or producing? Isn't it part of the cast and crew that was in Sausage Party and a lot of writers that Seth Rogen has worked with before?
We don't know much about it, but it's being written by the people who wrote both the Neighbors movies, and it's being directed by someone. His name is Jeff Rowe. He's been involved with Gravity Falls and another movie called Connected.
I don't know those. Do you know those?
I've seen little bits of Gravity Falls before.
What's that about?
It's a TV show that used to be on. It's a cartoon. It's a kids show.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense. Gravity Falls is a kid show. It sounds like a very intense movie, like something like in outer space, like the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock or something. You know, like that movie could also be called Gravity Falls, and I would just believe that's the name of that movie.
Well, yeah, no, Gravity Falls is an animated kids show. So.
Oh, also, if you guys are wondering, like I said before, we are outside by the fire, and it is 4th of July weekend, so you're going to hear all the fireworks and junk. I don't know if the mic's picking it up. I mean, it's a 3-way mic, so it might be. But if you hear all the ruckus in the background, that's what's going on, because this is a special podcast for Seth's 16th celebration and our second year anniversary, and we're talking about Ninja Turtles, which is ironic because you wanted to talk about Ninja Turtles. I wanted to talk about it after you told me that was coming out. And Durbin and I just did a podcast 2 weeks ago where we spent 2 hours talking everything possible about Ninja Turtles.
And then this comes out.
And then this news comes out. So if you guys want to see my opinion and Chris Durbin's opinion on any other Ninja Turtles information, please check out that podcast. I'll leave it in the description below. So what are you wanting from this movie?
Well, I want them to do a different art style from and I don't want it to look like the TMNT movie that came out in 2007. You know,
That was 2007? That's how long ago that movie came out?
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know, it would be cool if they did a super realistic looking CG, you know? What? What are you laughing at?
I mean, live action? Like it could be live action CG?
It could be live action, yeah.
Kind of like the live action one that we have now with the super realistic CGI looking turtles?
Maybe not that realistic,
Yeah.
but make it look more realistic than the one from
Like-
2007.
Like Final Fantasy style.
Yeah, sure.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't see a problem with continuing the one from 2007, personally.
Well, there's no problem with that. There's already a canceled sequel though from that.
Oh, neat.
But yeah, this is a reboot. So
Turtles in their reboot hell, man. I wish they would just stop rebooting and just continue a functioning story. That'd be fantastic.
I'm just gonna say this once: Seth Rogen should be crying.
No.
Yeah, I
No
like
way.
it. Yep, I like it.
Seth Rogen should not be crying.
Seth Rogen should be crying.
No, it would just sound like Seth Rogen.
That's not a problem.
Crane sounds evil. Like, I'm gonna get you, turtles. No, I can't do that. All right, so we have this anime. When's that supposed to come out? Like, when's it supposed to? Is it pre-production now?
There's like no information on it besides what I've already talked about. Who's writing it and who's directing it.
When was this announced?
June 30th. So this was just a few days ago. What's today? Today's the 3rd. So this was just announced on June 30th.
I wonder if we're going to see a major increase in animated movies because of the whole COVID-19 thing.
I could see that being a possibility because you can work on them from home. So
Or from anywhere, like an enclosed studio that people
Yeah.
aren't congregating in and all this shit, and you keep your production crew down and all that stuff. I wonder if 2021 we're going to see a huge swing into animated films, and maybe they'll bring
Yeah.
a different level since that in retrospect is the only way people can make movies, right now, or at least healthily. So I wonder if bringing Seth Rogen on is a way to kind of dance between two different types of generations, the younger crowd and the older crowd. And Nickelodeon's not. I don't see Nickelodeon doing a Seth Rogen style Ninja Turtles fully. And his involvement it's a weird thing to be added on to that.
yeah, but it's an interesting choice, and honestly, I think I like it. I think I like him being part of this.
Yeah, because he is funny, and like in an immature way that children would love. And I mean that in the best way, Seth. I really do. Not you, Seth.
No, I mean
Rogen Seth.
I'm not even like a huge fan of him. I did not like Sausage Party.
Well, yeah, you were 13 and that movie was totally inappropriate. I remember. Didn't I stop it?
No, you didn't. We finished it.
Oh, Jesus. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I'm not even gonna say it's okay. Thank you for apologizing.
Well, for Seth's future therapist that's listening to this and taking notes, just know that I feel bad. I really do. I didn't know it was that bad. I knew it was bad, but not that bad. But I mean, Seth Rogen might be rolling over into a lighter side of things. I mean, he did The Lion King, and he did
Do the Lion King.
He also did Monster vs. Aliens. I mean, Seth Rogen doesn't have to be in incredibly bad, tongue-in-cheek type of movies.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude, and he actually can be genuine. So I'm very curious how he fits into this world, if he's going to actually be in it, like as a actor, or just a producing role. What do you think?
Well, as of now, we only know that he's producing, but like I said earlier, I wouldn't mind if or like he said, I wouldn't mind if he played Rocksteady or Bebop. I could probably see Bebop being more likely for him,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that would make sense. Bebop would be perfect for him.
yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do put him in it. Like, honestly, I think I'd be more surprised if they didn't put him in it.
Yeah, because hanging on his name,
Yeah.
with Seth Rogen, yes, producing. Oh, I mean,
I have a feeling
he's produced other things. He's produced TV series on cable and stuff like that. I forget what show it was called. It was a Preacher.
I'm not sure.
I think he produced Preacher, the guy with Arseface or whatever.
I feel like if he does not end up being in this movie, it's going to become like a Jordan Peele situation, where like the trailer for Candyman dropped a few months ago, and they were like, Jordan Peele's Candyman.
Oh yeah,
He's not directing it.
right. But
He's just
everyone thought
producing
he
it.
was directing it because
Yeah.
he's been directing all these horror movies.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Jordan Peele producing.
Yeah. And like, I feel like if he's not in it, it'll become sort of that situation. Like, oh, Seth Rogen's Ninja Turtles movie that he's producing and not doing anything else.
It's like what was that, Gremlins? with Steven Spielberg's buddy.
Oh, Back to the Future.
Oh, Back to the Future. Yeah. Who did that bit?
Honest Trailers.
Honest Trailers. Yeah.
From Steven Spielberg's buddy.
so freaking funny, man. Oh, all right. So that's a thing. I hope it's good. I hope it comes to fruition, and I hope it works out, and I hope it's not like the only future they're investing in for the Ninja Turtles. I hope there's an actual, relatively live action Ninja Turtles, hopefully sequel, or a complete and utter upside down on its head reboot.
I know. Back in 2019, there were talks of the live action, reboot, and like everyone, we don't know if that evolved into this, or if this is a separate project. I would assume that evolved into this, that they aren't really going to go forward with the live action Ninja Turtles as of now, so they decided to do the CG animation.
I could see that, but I could also see that it was they know they have two different audiences.
Yeah.
When it comes to this movie, they have the audience that grew up with it, that are now in their late 30s and 40s. Me, I was there. I was in theaters for the first Ninja Turtles movie. So they have that market. And I think where the new CGI or the new live action movies failed is because they were trying to market to both at the same time, the younger crowd and the older crowd.
Yeah.
And it kind of became this jumbled mess of, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
The second one was definitely played into my generation a lot more. I thought they did that great, but
I was not a fan of the 2014 movie. I just thought that one was boring. I thought that one was boring, but I actually really liked Out of the Shadows because when I was little, I wasn't around when the show was airing or anything, but I watched the cartoon.
Yeah, I had the DVD of the cartoons.
I still own it.
And the funny thing is actually that movie is based off of one of the cartoons on that disc that we have.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch the cartoons, I think it's the first one or second one, but if you watch it, you'll see very mirrored situation with what happened Out of the Shadows that was in one episode. I think it was when Crane actually came to Earth for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously not going to be exactly the same, but
right.
Anyhow,
but it was like a dream for Ninja Turtles fans. They they wanted Rocksteady and Bebop in live action, and we didn't know for a while that Krang was going to be in it. They revealed that later on in the advertisements, but it's kind them being in it is kind of like everything the fans wanted.
Yes, it was complete nostalgia of the cartoon.
Yeah.
And when you say the fans, you mean people more my age.
Yes, people who watched the cartoon.
Now I think there might be this divide. And I think a lot of movie studios are starting to realize this divide. I think the only one that's really done it really well is Marvel, and I hate to say that because we're DC people over here. But I think Warner Brothers is catching on. We need to put some material out for the younger audiences, and then some material out for the adult kids.
Yeah.
And I think Nickelodeon might be realizing that, and they're putting this out for their younger crowds. So that gives me hope that our next live action movie might be a little bit more geared towards more of an adult tone, which is what I want.
Well, there's actually a rumor. Now, this is nothing but a rumor, so don't take this as fact. But there's a rumor that I think CBS All Access wants to make a live action adaptation of a comic series going on about the Ninja Turtles, and I think it's called The Last Ronin, and it's about the last surviving Ninja Turtle. 3 of them are dead. And
it'd have to be Raphael.
That's the thing, you don't know who it is.
Oh, it's a mystery.
He carries all the weapons.
Oh.
And I guess they don't wear the bandana, so you don't know who it is.
It's one of the turtles, and you don't know which one.
Yeah.
And he goes by Ronin. That's real original.
My guess, and I haven't read it or anything, but if I just had to make a quick guess, it's probably Michelangelo. I would guess that because that seems like it would be the most unlikely scenario.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
They like to do that, so my guess would be Michelangelo.
And I think Donatello would be very easy to peg out because he still would be a tech no matter what. Even if he absorbed all the other traits of his brothers, he would still be a tech nerd with
Yeah.
everything he does. So I think that would be one that we are 4th of Julying the fuck out on this podcast. This is the way we should do our podcast every year. Like our anniversary podcast. There's fireworks popping off. This is great.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but yeah, Michelangelo would be like the underdog of like, oh, Michelangelo, we didn't expect him, you know. But he's also the most like influential younger brother who strives to be his older brothers.
Right.
So that also makes sense. And I guess my initial knee-jerk reaction of it being Raphael is probably the most obvious choice.
Yeah.
You know, just him naturally being a vigilante amongst his brothers anyway. You know, so that would be a little too on the nose. Now, another one I could also see is Leonardo, but because that's just how he is.
Right.
He would do everything in honor of, but yeah, Michelangelo, or maybe, hell, you know what, in this scenario, Donatello would be the least likely one. Now that I think about it, Donatello would be the least likely one that it would be. You know, and not know who it is. If you couldn't peg that was Donatello and then you find out it's Donatello at the end, that he would be the least likely, I would suspect, to be that turtle.
And now, as far as I'm concerned, this is still going on. So people who do read them still don't know who it is.
Nice.
So
I didn't know that was even a thing.
yeah, I just learned about it the other day because there's a rumor that they want to make a live-action series based on that. But like I said,
would be fantastic. And that's
it's just a rumor.
And that's all
So,
access.
Yeah.
Does CBS own Nickelodeon?
Looks like Nickelodeon owns CBS.
Oh, well,
Wait.
there's that.
Oh no, never mind. CBS looks like it does own Nickelodeon.
Okay, well there you go. That's why that's a thing. That's why that could be a thing, and they're probably going to do that to get people onto their streaming service. That would be a smart idea.
Yeah, I would hope they do that because it sounds really interesting. So
Yeah. Oh my god, and that goes into the streaming wars. Oh, they would get me in on that one, wouldn't they?
yes, they would. Yeah.
It's just like HBO Max get me in on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They added the Ultimate Edition to HBO Max. Finally.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and they took off the theatrical cut.
Oh,
of BVS.
good for them.
I don't know why we can't have both, but you know, Ultimate Edition is better than theatrical
Because
cut.
one
so.
one doesn't actually exist anymore. It's dying.
Yeah, when people talk about BVS, usually they're just talking about the Ultimate Edition.
Oh, when I did my review for BVS, you know, just someone's like, "Did you review the Ultimate Edition?" Because I forgot to type in Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man! Do you even watch this channel? I'm wearing the Zack Snyder 5-part arc shirt. Come on, man! Of course I watched the Ultimate Edition. You know?
Yeah.
Is there even? I forget that there's another edition. You know, that's why I don't even put it in
Right.
the title. I don't
I
put
have-
Ultimate Edition. That's just the version that exists.
I have not seen the theatrical cut since I saw it in theaters.
And I bet when we do, it'll be the same reaction we had that Durbin had when we watched Lord of the Rings with him.
Yeah, probably. Like
For anyone, nobody will know this because we never released a video on it. But Seth and I watched virtually online. We had pretty much a private watch party with Chris Durbin over at the channel Durbania, Lord of the Rings, and the first one, and it was the theatrical version. And he was so like, "Oh my God, you're missing this! You're missing that!" I bet we would have the same reaction
Probably.
watching that one. So
yeah. Ray Fisher and Joss Whedon.
Oh, what was that? What did he say?
He tweeted yesterday, I have it typed out here. He said, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. And then he said, accountability is greater than entertainment.
Burn! Man, okay. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, if this is true, I'm glad Ray Fisher is speaking up about this. Because for the longest time, me and a lot of people not involved with it, but like a lot of people who are fans of this stuff have usually been hating on WB and been like, well, Joss Whedon just did what they were told, or what he was told to do. You know, you don't hate on Joss Whedon because he was told what to do. But now that this is coming out, it sounds like, Joss Whedon was kind of in the wrong here, or very much in the wrong.
Yeah, what did he say about him again? I want to hear it again.
Ray Fisher said, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable.
Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but it seems like, like we should all grab the pitchforks and torches now and go chase after Joss Whedon. I don't think that's a good look for what all the positive things that are happening in the Snyder movement right now. I don't know. I can see both sides. I mean, if something seriously happened that needs to be addressed, I hope it gets addressed. But if it's just something that I'm just going to say this just so we can continue a negative train onto Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns, and all that, it seems a little petty.
Yeah.
But I don't know the situation.
Well,
I mean, I can't say for one way or another, but that's both sides of the fence that I see.
Well, we have a little bit more to talk about on here, about this. But Joss Whedon is being really silent right now.
He has been for a while.
You know who isn't being silent?
Who?
Is John Berg, who Ray Fisher name dropped in here, saying that John Berg and Jeff Johns enabled Joss Whedon.
Okay.
So,
see, you know more about this stuff because I don't Twitter much. But so please do explain.
So John Berg made a statement about what Ray Fisher said, and he said, "This is categorically untrue that we enabled any unprofessional behavior. I remember Fisher being upset that we wanted him to say booyah, which is a well-known saying of Cyborg in the Teen Titans animated series."
Okay.
That's what he said.
Well, that's a terrible defense.
Yeah, I'm going to say this.
He's like, no, I didn't, and Ray Fisher didn't want to work with us, so meh.
He's trying to make Ray Fisher look like the bad guy. He's doing a really bad job at
Yeah.
it. But,
Yes.
I don't think Ray Fisher was upset that he had to say booyah. I feel like it was, everything going on with the situation that was making him upset. I don't think he would solely get upset because they wanted him to say booyah.
And that was the fucked up cherry on top of this fucked up cake, that they were making him reshoot all this stuff, this serious role where Cyborg was the heart of, and now he has to sell his soul and say booyah.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't have much of a problem with him saying booyah. Like he said, it is a well-known Cyborg statement. That doesn't mean it has to be said, but I don't know. It's just, it doesn't really make sense what he's trying to say. He got mad because of this.
It makes sense, but not for the reason he thinks it makes sense. It makes sense to what Ray Fisher's saying. It makes sense that to me that's a very knee-jerk. Well, you know what, he said that about me. Here's something about him. This is what I got to say about him.
Yeah.
And that's the big gun he pulls out. Well, you know what? Ray Fisher had a huge problem with us completely changing the movie around behind Zack Snyder's back. That's also what I hear.
Well, Ray Fisher has actually made two other tweets. One before that one, and one after, one he made this morning.
Okay, so what was the first one?
The one he made the other day was, he posted a clip from Comic-Con of 2017. It was before Justice League came out, and it was right after, or soon after Joss Whedon was hired. And it was a clip of Ray Fisher saying that Joss Whedon is a great guy, and that Zack Snyder picked a really good person to come in and, finish everything up and clean up the movie for him. He posted that clip, and Ray Fisher said, "I'd like to take a moment to forcefully retract every single bit of this statement." So, there's that.
I don't know. But I would like to hear more of an explanation of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I said this because
that was
I was
before
being guided to,
That was before the tweet we just talked about a little bit.
Right,
ago.
I understand, but still, I'd like some context. Ray Fisher is putting out these bombs, but he's not giving us any context behind them.
I'm wondering if any of the other cast members are going to come out and say anything.
Probably not. Probably not. And the reason why I say that is because Ray Fisher was a newbie in a galaxy of professional actors. And I see this outburst that Ray Fisher is having could be a thing that leads his career into good places. I don't know. But typically when actors come out like that and act out in a negative way towards their ex-bosses or, the previous co-workers, it tends to show a side of an actor that people don't like.
Yeah.
And that's somebody who's trying to stir the pot. Look at Ben Affleck. We didn't hear shit from Ben Affleck until he #released his Snyder Cut. We haven't heard shit from him since. You're bringing up these negative sides of what happened. I don't know if right now is the right time for that. Let's ride this positive wave, and then let's address the issues that need to be addressed with how you guys were treated. But you're winning right now. You're winning.
Right.
Let's ride that wave. So what's his next tweet? The tweet that came after dude did a poor job defending himself.
So as of right now, this tweet was posted 10 hours ago. And he didn't say much. All he said was, I believe Kai Cole and Charisma Carpenter. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Kai Cole. I'm pretty, I think it's Joss Whedon's ex-wife. But Charisma Carpenter was on Buffy, which Joss Whedon was heavily involved with. He wrote the show and directed a ton of episodes.
Right, it was his baby, yeah.
Yeah, and she was on Buffy and the spinoff of it, Angel. And at one point, during both of those shows, because they were on at the same time, she got pregnant. So he fired her off the show and just completely killed off her character for it. So...
Well, yeah, he's been known to have some inappropriate sexual, degrading tones to his directing, and I'm 100% get that, but this is what I mean by context.
Right.
Accusing somebody of being nasty and giving examples of how they're nasty can be honestly two different things. I can tell everyone in the YouTube world right now that Seth Draven is the world's worst son. And a lot of people will be like, oh, point the finger, oh, worst kid ever. Or they'll point at me, oh, you're an asshole for even bringing that up. But if I said, oh my gosh, my son made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but he put petroleum jelly instead of grape jelly in my sandwich, worst kid ever. Now we have context, and that brings on a whole new meaning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're talking about.
Context is everything. What is he talking about specifically? And is there something that needs to be addressed here? Because right now, the way he's doing it is pretty petty, in my opinion. It needs to be addressed in an adult manner, not just like, oh yeah, well, I know some things. I'm going to tell people, but I want to tell them I know things first. Speaking in a professional manner, that's the way I see that. And that's just Twitter. That's just Twitter in general. That's why, that's why I backed out of the whole Snyder thing for a while. It's still kind of backed out. I just don't get involved with the heavy stuff. But I do love it. I do find it interesting. But I have to balance out my life, and that's why I'm hearing all this stuff for the first time now.
Yeah.
I've been seeing YouTube videos popping up, talking about it. But I can't exhaust myself like that anymore. I have to save time for it, and this is the time. So thank you for bringing that up and being on top of all the information on there. That was awesome.
There's not really anything else to talk about. There's one very small thing we could mention. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I think it's Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
He made a tweet defending Joss Whedon. And he said I've known Joss Whedon for 17 years, and it's hard to believe something like this. And it's hard to imagine something like this. So he's defending Joss Whedon. And like I said, Joss Whedon's being quiet, but he's liking the tweet. He's liking all the tweets that are defending him, but he's just not saying anything. But
and it's best he doesn't right now.
Yeah. I'm sure more will come out about it at some point. If it's as big as Ray Fisher's making it out to be, then I'm sure more will come out about it. But maybe in the next few days, because he's tweeting regularly about this. He's made 3 tweets in the past week just about it.
And there's something to be said about that. And I said it's not in defense for Ray either. When I've dealt with toxic people in my life, there's been points in my experience where I've just had to shut up and just let them make their noise and understand that people will see the true toxic person is the one that keeps talking about the negative things. I'm just saying,
That's a good point.
That I've had to do that before, and I've had to sit back and have my name be drugged through the mud with certain people. You know who I'm talking about, right? And you know that person was a very toxic person,
Yes.
and sometimes you just have to sit back and let that person expose themselves because they'll keep talking about the negative things. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my concern with all of this right now.
So, moving on, DC is having what I guess you could call their own Comic-Con. It is going to be a one-time thing for 24 hours on a website, DC Fandom website. And it's going to go on for 24 hours straight. And you can submit questions for a ton of topics for it.
Now this is kind of like what they did with the Wonder Woman thing, where they did their own like DC talk in what was it, Brazil or something like that.
Yeah, but
Well,
that one was,
I feel like that was a precursor to this. Like that was like a little test run for maybe something like this.
well, that was at a Comic-Con.
Right. I know, but it was specific. But it was specific to Twitter and DC, and they streamed everything themselves. I feel like that may have been like a test run for what this is.
Right.
I don't know. Just a
Now-
thought. So, go ahead.
DC is having a ton of different panels for this thing. Now,
Now, is this Warner Brothers in DC or just DC?
I guess it's Warner Brothers and DC, but it's a DC event,
Okay, but
So-
you're not sure entirely.
not completely.
Okay.
But they've mentioned a couple times about people who are going to be present. I don't know what that means. I'd assume, with my guess is because of quarantine and everything going on, that they just like put up their webcam at home
Right.
and stream it from there.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, and like I don't see them actually getting together to do this thing, and that would make sense if they did just use their computer camera from home or something like that, because it's already been confirmed. One of the things that's going to be there, one of the many things that's going to be there, is the Suicide Squad. The movie that James Gunn wrote and directed because Disney fired him. So.
Well, and they brought him back.
And then they brought him back, but then he was like, no, I'm still doing DC. So, they said that James Gunn and the cast of the Suicide Squad is going to be there.
I mean, I could see it going both ways. They could either all be at home in their own little quarantine, or it could be we're all going to meet together, but we all have to have a COVID test and stay
Right.
quarantined once we're here. All this sort of thing, I completely understand. I could see how that could go both ways. I don't think there's an issue with either way that they could go there. I mean, we're in a world now where we're 3-4 months into this thing, this whole COVID-19 thing, where
Yeah.
this is normal. This is new normal.
Yep.
We're getting used to it. It's so weird. I feel so out of the loop with this stuff because me. I don't watch TV. We don't have TV here.
Yeah.
We watch movies. That's it. So like when I go somewhere and somebody's watching TV, like, and I see American Idol and how they're doing that,
That's what I was thinking when I saw
so
that.
weird to me. It's the world's new normal, but I'm just kind of learning to accept that.
There's a ton of different topics, like I said earlier, and I want to make a couple predictions for what they might talk about or do for these things. Aquaman is going to get a panel. It's confirmed that James Wan is going to be there. Now, there's a couple things they could talk about here. They are doing an animated Aquaman TV show for HBO Max, and then they're also doing the sequel to the movie. And the animated movie, actually, or not the animated movie, the animated TV show is actually canon with the movies, but I think it takes place in between the first and second movie.
So they're making an animated TV show that is canon with the movies.
Yes,
They're doing that.
but they are making a sequel still. They're making
Right, but,
and it comes
I
out-
mean, like, it's going to be like Disney Plus.
kinda, yeah.
I hate that, man.
Something tells me that you won't have to watch this show to know what's going on in the second one.
Right, but
They
yeah.
might go that direction. I don't see that happening, though. I could just see that
And-
being
but
like
it's
an
weird-
in-between story.
But it's weird that it's animated. Is Jason Momoa going to voice the Aquaman?
I'd assume so.
I mean, I guess that would give him nice side work between movies.
Yeah. So, but they could talk about that. I assume they're going to talk about that. And then they are making Aquaman 2, which doesn't come out until December of 2022 if it doesn't get delayed. They could talk about that. I could just see them doing like a title reveal or something for it, nothing too huge.
Yeah.
But that's just my prediction for that panel.
Like right now, what was it? Disney's being suspiciously quiet. Marvel.
Right. And, I'm not thinking too much of that. I think they don't really have much going on right now. They have, movies in development, but like they're all they could just keep getting pushed back and pushed back further and further. So like,
right, but here's what I mean. Like, so now DC, and Warner Brothers are kind of taking advantage of this silence.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're everyone's like, if this is poker, everyone's sitting at the table with their cards, kind of looking around, who's got what. Marvel's like, well, here's my deck. And then DC right now is like, well, I see that and I raise you, but they haven't put their cards down yet. they're in the raising, so you don't know what they have exactly. Right. And I think this Comic-Con or this Fandom thing is going to be the reveal of their cards. We're going to see if they win this hand or not, or maybe someone else at the table, or even Marvel will have a card under their sleeve that they're prepared to lay down and trump everybody with. So does that analogy make sense?
Yes, it
Thank
does.
God.
But
I stretched my imagination for that one.
As of right now, maybe it's just because this is all going on right now, but like, right now I'm more excited for what DC has in store than Marvel. And that's not to like insult Marvel or anything, because I like the Marvel movies. I watch them. I see them opening night. I like.
And it's
the
okay
Marvel
to do
movies.
that. It's okay to like the Marvel movies. It's okay to like both sides of that fence.
Yes, and I do. I love both sides of that fence.
But DC's better. Well,
In certain aspects, yes.
DC is
Getting there.
we're just DC fans.
Yeah, but-
because we root for them. We
Right.
want them. I always root for the underdog, and unfortunately, that's DC right now.
But and I also forgot to mention this event is happening on August 22nd, so it's next month. They have a panel for Batwoman, the show. I don't really want to talk too much about that, but we don't watch a CW or even any of the we don't really watch any.
We don't
of the
watch
shows.
TV. That goes back to the whole us not watching TV thing.
We used to have DC Universe, but we don't have DC Universe anymore.
Well, now it's all being hoarded out to
and
other networks.
They're putting Harley Quinn on HBO Max. They
Oh,
just
are they?
confirmed that the other day.
Oh, so now Harley Quinn and Doom Patrol will be over there.
Yeah, and
So-
there's still actually no official word on where Titans is going.
Yeah, but
I just
we
assume-
see it
yeah.
slowly being absorbed.
Yeah,
and they're
I-
trying to milk that monthly DC
Yeah.
Universe fee right now.
Well, there's a deal right now. If you have DC Universe, you can get HBO Max for
What?
$5 more.
What? Oh, that's a little smart. These are little shits. I might just have to do that one.
So, there you go. But another panel that they're having, which interests me a lot, is Black Adam. Oh, I accidentally kicked the table. They're having a panel for the Black Adam movie that they're doing, starring Dwayne Johnson.
Woo!
Now, I'm a little worried about this movie. Like, I'm excited for this movie, but also a little worried
Why?
because I like the character Black Adam, and I'm excited to get to know more about him. Plus, it's being said that the Justice Society of America will be in this movie. I'm not sure if you were familiar with them, but
Yeah, that's like Justice League, but not Justice League.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of worried because Dwayne Johnson really seems to only have one type of style, and it's like a Dwayne Johnson. I'm hoping it's not just another like Dwayne Johnson movie.
Okay.
I'm hoping maybe.
I can see your concern, but at the same time, his style is what's made him famous.
Right. But
His
like,
style is what makes every movie that he's in pretty much a hit. He has this moxie about him. He has this alluring way about him.
right. But my main concern with that is not, I don't see that way he acts going well with the character Black Adam. But, I also didn't really see Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. So
Arguably. Yeah.
and then I ended up loving it. So
We are Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor fans over here for sure.
Yes, we are.
If you don't believe me, watch my Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition review.
So,
well, I see what you're saying, but I will argue with you on the fact that I think Dwayne Johnson will do fine in this role. Number one, because I don't really know Black Adam. I really don't. I don't know Black Adam.
I don't know too much about him.
I know that
But-
he is he's like an anti-hero sort of.
He-
He's one of those.
He goes in between one
Right,
of those
he's one of
villain
those.
and
He's
anti-heroes.
he's one of those. He's like a Harley Quinn character, you know. Someone who's
Venom.
sometimes bad. Yeah, Venom. You know, he's like that. And somebody like Dwayne Johnson, who can empower a screen and show confidence and like be intimidating and also be hilarious at the same time, can play both sides of that fence. I can see where that would work out with a character that, you know, is that way. But I think what you're talking about is Dwayne Johnson fatigue. I think that might be more your concern. Like, there's
Yeah.
so much of this one Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Like, do we really want another version of it?
Yeah, and I hope he blows me away. You know,
Right.
I hope that it's like, I hope he does a really good job, and I think he will. But I'm just, as of now, I'm a little concerned about it. It's not like
I can see your concern, but yeah, I can see your concern for sure. I guess this all really comes down to how they design this character in a movie that's also around him.
right.
You know, and not just, okay, so let's say Dwayne Johnson's going to be Dwayne Johnson. He's going to play this, he's going to be himself, the way he is in every movie, right?
Right.
So let's make a superhero movie designed around him that promotes that excels that, you know, that
Right,
works with that, you know. And a Shazam style movie, if they stick to that kind of style, they're gonna have to stick somewhere near that style, a little bit,
Yeah, maybe.
at least something that can marry well with a Shazam movie. They're going to eventually be together, not like a couple, but you know, in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a concern though, because he's still
Right.
riding high on his wave. But
Yeah.
there could, but I guess an initial fear could be that his wave could break during this movie. Like,
And-
oh, Dwayne Johnson doing that look again. Okay.
And as of now, this movie has not been delayed at all. Well, I mean, besides for the fact that Dwayne Johnson was cast in the role a decade ago, but like, I mean, ever since
Besides the 10 years delay, yeah.
ever since the official date was given for this movie, it has not been delayed. I'm sure it will be delayed, but as of right now, it is still set to come out in December of 2021. But unless they can get filming like next month or something,
Yeah.
then I don't really see them making that date. But
And now we have this COVID resurgence thing.
yeah, but you know, and if it does get delayed, I don't think it'll be delayed too far because Shazam 2 was supposed to come out in April of 2022, and it got delayed to November. So I honestly could see them moving Black Adam to Shazam 2's original date.
And moving things around like that is not always a terrible thing, but like, I want to kind of switch gears here for a second. It piqued up my mind, and me and Lantern 2814 kind of tapped on it a little bit. I want to see your thoughts. Do you think Matt Reeves, the Batman, could be devastated by what's happened with the Snyder Cut since they shut down their production? Do you think when
No.
they're like, okay, well, hey, we're back up and running with our new Batman movie, and we're all like, well, Ben Affleck said he's back, which is a rumor right now. You know, we're getting the Snyderverse, we're getting like all this entire universe rebuild itself during COVID-19. What about your movie? You're making a movie with Batman? Okay. What? What are your thoughts on that?
The hype for the Batman is incredibly high, at least for most people. People are going to go see this opening night. You know, they're anticipating trailers and, you know, more reveals, more information about the movie. Unfortunately, we can't really get that right now.
Yeah.
At Fandom, it has a panel. We'll get into that a little bit on what I think.
Oh, it does.
On what I think will be there, but Yeah.
Oh,
they-
what? I mean, what? Let's get into it now.
All right, yeah. Let's,
Well, here we are. We're
It's at
talking
the
about
bottom, but let's skip ahead a little bit. So the Batman is going to be at DC Fandom. No official word on if Matt Reeves will be there. I'm sure he will be. You know, Robert Pattinson, I'm sure will be there. But
Yeah, they need to,
nothing official yet
Yeah.
about them being there. But I don't see them doing it without them. But no, I do not think that the Batman will be affected too much by them releasing the Snyder Cut and kind of taking somewhat of a step back. Just like I said, because, you know, most people are really excited for this movie.
Well, another thing that DC and Warner Brothers is doing is they're making this multiverse a thing.
Right.
So, you know, we got Michael Keaton coming back, theoretically, most likely.
Yeah, most
Hopefully,
likely.
people will riot in the fucking streets if he doesn't, because we all want that Batman Beyond movie, and time's taken. You know,
Yeah.
what are the chances that they could just shoe in these movies into, I mean, the multiverse? It's a multiverse.
Yeah, and
I mean, these movies. There's no reason why these movies couldn't exist in the multiverse and
Right,
still
and I
have
don't-
and still be on their own merit and still be standalones and still be something. But like, all Warner Brothers or DC would have to say is, every movie exists in the multiverse,
right,
and
I
that's
could see
all.
that
They,
being-
that's all they have to say. So in our in imaginations, in our minds, in our imaginations, we can just know that, you know, the Batman, Joker, are in the same multiverse. Somewhere in that world where, you know, Ben Affleck's Batman exists, you know, or Michael Keaton's Batman exists, or, you know, freaking Val Kilmer's Batman exists. Yeah, and that's a really cool thing. Even if you don't actually physically tie them into each other through a movie, but just to state that they all exist together in a multiverse, to me, that's fairly mind-blowing.
Right. And there is a pretty reliable source on Twitter. His name is I think you pronounce it Daniel Reichman. And you know, he's been right before, so I'm just gonna quickly bring this up. He said that the Matt Reeves trilogy, is going to be like Joker. Like, they aren't going to cross over with anything.
Right.
It's going to be its own standalone thing.
Right, and crossover being the operative word there.
Right, and like it being in the multiverse, you know, that wouldn't really affect it too much.
No.
If they don't cross over, that them being in the multiverse does not affect it. But
But it being known that they are in the multiverse, but they don't have to cross over is another thing. Like that's a thing that could be a thing. And let's say, fucking 30 years, 25 years from now, Robert Pattinson's, you know, 50, 60 years old, hasn't played Batman in 20 years, and they're like, well, you are in a multiverse. We could tie you into this new, this new whatever movie that we're doing. Boom. Multiverse explained all of that.
right, and if you think about it, if they make this all canon, the DCEU has been around since the 1960s, because the Adam West world had a very, very brief cameo on the CW when they were doing that whole Crisis on Infinite Earths thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it was very, very quick, but they showed, I don't remember his name right now, but they showed Robin from that world. And you know, he wasn't
his name again?
Burt Ward.
Burt, thank you.
Yeah. You know, they just showed him, and you know, he wasn't in costume or anything, but like
Okay,
they showed him from that world.
I'm gonna make a little. I don't know if it's a bad joke or a good joke. But not
You
even
can
a
make
joke.
it, and if it's bad, you can cut it out. So
But if Adam West were still alive, and Burt Ward and him came back for the Crisis on Infinite Earths, I could see the memes now with what's that SpongeBob duo?
oh man,
Yeah, the-
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Yeah. that would be them. If only.
Wow.
If only. Come on, man. Like, so close.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that'd be kind of funny if they did that. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing Marvel, I don't know, even if they were suspecting anything, didn't expect was that DC was gonna fucking just put their foot down on we own the multiverse first.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did, because I just have a small theory, and most people have this theory. It's not like I created it or anything, but like, I have a theory that Marvel is going to do something with that multiverse. You know, they don't have as much to work on with it. You know, they don't have like, 10 different Spider-Men. They don't have like 10 different.
That's a bad example.
They don't. Wait, it is?
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, no, I meant like live action.
Oh,
They don't have like
they do though.
10 live action
Not
Spider-Men.
10 specifically, but they have multiple Spider-Men.
3.
There's also the 70s.
Okay, the 70. I don't. Come on.
What we're bringing up, Burt Ward and Adam West here.
Good point.
Let's
Okay, yeah.
compare apples with apples. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my point is, they don't have as many Spider-Man as they do Batman, but I can see them. They brought back Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't Sony that brought him back, but he's coming back to Marvel. Doctor Strange 2 has multiverse in the title,
Yeah.
in the
Right.
multiverse of madness. So, I'm sure they'll be traveling there, and I wouldn't be surprised one bit if we got a small cameo from Tobey Maguire in that movie.
And Andrew Garfield. I want all three.
And
on
Andrew
screen
Garfield.
together.
Yeah, I
all
want that
three
too, but,
on
like,
screen together.
I feel like they would do Tobey Maguire.
You know what? You would have a in-game epic moment when Captain America grabbed that hammer
If you had all three.
in a final boss battle.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if when Tom Holland is done in the MCU specifically, that Sony takes him back and puts them in his basically his own universe. Now, they are canon now. Morbius is making them canon. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Tom Holland and then like their version of Endgame would be Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire. And I'm sure they
their
would
in-game epicness.
Yeah.
Is what you mean? Yeah.
and introduce maybe more. Yeah, Miles Morales maybe could be part of that. I feel like right now Tom Holland's still pretty young, but we know Miles Morales exists in the MCU.
We don't know that yet.
Mm,
His uncle showed up.
And he said, "I have a nephew that lives here." Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a little seed. It could grow, but yeah.
Miles Morales' uncle says he has a nephew, but it's not Miles Morales. I don't see that.
This is my nephew Derek.
That would be my guess on the what they call Sony universe of Marvel characters.
What a weird.
No, they renamed it. I think it's now the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters.
They had to put in the Patriot.
Yeah, because it used to just be called Sony Universe of Marvel characters.
Yeah, but Sony Pictures is the actual designation,
So, no, they changed
appropriate name for their company. They put a business suit on the name.
There's still some stuff to talk about with Fandom. So,
Please continue.
okay, one that I think for Fandom, another panel that they're doing, one that I think is more similar to the Aquaman panel is the Shazam panel that they're doing. There's a sequel in development. It's still a while away because, Aquaman is December 2022. Shazam is November 2022. So.
And they have a spin-off also coming. So.
Shazam?
Well, Black Adam, in a sense.
I guess that could be technically considered a spin-off, but unlike Aquaman, they don't have an animated series in development. So I don't really see them being able to talk about much other than the sequel. So my guess for this would be the same as Aquaman. Title reveal for it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much they could talk about. And maybe they won't just talk about the future. Maybe they'll show some like behind the scenes stuff that happened in those movies, for Aquaman and Shazam, but I don't really see that happening.
That's reaching.
Yeah,
that's reaching for content.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was saying. I was like, I don't really see that happening, but
Yeah.
there's not really much to talk about with Shazam besides unless
that
you
we
just
know of.
unless you just talk a ton about the sequel.
That we know of. I mean,
Well, yeah.
unless let's say Shazam. Let's say Shazam panel shows up and it's Zachary Levi, Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill show up.
Ha. That's not
Now
bad.
you have something.
That's not bad.
Let's say
maybe
let's
announce Henry Cavill coming
say
back.
Aquaman 2 panel. You got fucking Jason Momoa. You got maybe what's her name coming back. What's her name?
Amber Heard.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Well,
We don't know yet, so. But I don't. I don't.
it's
Oh, I don't
sensitive
even-
subject.
I don't even. If that was something on stage, I don't even want to know what the audience would do if she
Well-
walked out on stage.
Let's just say hypothetically, it's
Okay.
cool. She walks out on the stage because she's part of the first one, and then we have Ezra Miller or Ray Fisher come out.
That would be interesting. I don't. That's a good point. I don't really see much happening though with Aquaman. I think Aquaman 2 is going to be an Aquaman movie, especially since Ray Fisher is going to be in the Flash movie.
Is that confirmed?
It is.
Okay, well that's good because they can make a great buddy cop movie, but
But with Aquaman, I see that being an Aquaman movie, and with Shazam, I think if they do have another character, it probably will be Superman. So I could see that
the real
being-
one, not
Yeah, not the one we got. That would be weird if
Do you
they made
think
an
we're-
entire movie with a headless Superman.
Do you think we're going to get it's kind of evolving the conversation here? Do you think when we do get Henry Cavill into a new movie, do you think he's going to have the suit that was in Shazam
Probably not.
with the red side pieces, which I didn't mind? It actually looked pretty good.
My guess would be probably not. They redesign the suit every movie, but
Yeah.
my guess is they would probably do something more similar to Batman v Superman.
Which was okay.
I like the Batman v Superman suit. Man of Steel suit is still my favorite,
Yeah.
but the BVS suit, I don't have many problems with it.
I don't like the Kryptonian script that runs through the S. I think it looks messy and jumbled, and it bothers me. It just looks weird.
Yeah, I can get that.
But that's in my BVS review. Check that out if you want to see my opinion on that.
So, I think there's a likely chance that they could bring back Henry Cavill, maybe just for a small cameo in Shazam 2, or
An extended cameo.
I was gonna say an extended cameo, or maybe even a supporting role. We don't know.
Yeah, extended cameo. I think.
I'm saying I'm just thinking like,
Yeah, I mean, there's
I'm
any
thinking what
option
possibilities
is
could be.
possible. Yeah,
maybe
any-
Superman has more screen time than Shazam. Who knows?
Shazam guest starring in his own movie.
I mean, that's basically the Michael Keaton movies. So
Huh?
the movies were like, they were kind of like villain movies featuring Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah.
Jack Nicholson was, yeah. And by the way, I just want to point this out because it reminds me of the Michael Keaton movies. The way you're sitting right now, the way your glasses are going, it looks like
Oh, the cat
Yeah.
eyes that Michelle Pfeiffer had in Batman Returns. Nice.
so. Yeah, that's cool.
That is full frontal nerdity right there. Even though I don't think this is going to be a full frontal nerdy podcast.
No, this is a film trigger
Yeah,
podcast.
this is a film trigger podcast.
And all right, so moving on with the fandom, there's still a few more panels that we can talk about. They're doing the TV shows. We don't watch TV shows. Now I know we already talked about a lot of the Batman, but we didn't really, or at least I didn't really talk about what could be at their panel.
Okay.
My guess, I don't think we'll get a trailer. I think
No.
if anything, maybe another camera test, or like what they did with the Robert Pattinson suit reveal earlier this year. I think
Yeah, give us some other suit
Ma-
reveals.
that's my guess. Is I think we'll get pictures of them in costume. Maybe I want
Well-
to see what the Riddler looks like.
Well, there
and
there has to be camera tests for their suits already.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is.
But there's definitely not enough movie for a trailer.
Yeah,
There might be enough for like a literal teaser.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like maybe
Like a
teaser
15, 20-second, like, something.
for multiple reasons. One, it doesn't even come out until October of next year. Two, Matt Reeves said they only filmed 25% of the movie.
But 25% is still a lot of a movie.
Right.
But
I don't think they're gonna show a trailer.
and if it is a teaser,
maybe some small footage, but
if
nothing
I was about to say, if it is a teaser, it would just be like a snippet of a scene
yeah,
that might have like 2 to 3 main characters in the shot,
right.
which
And-
would still be like, we need something from them. We need something from the Matt Reeves Batman movie
Yeah, and
to keep it relevant, if not anything else.
well, they're gonna be there, so
Right, but like,
I think that
I'm surprised with how quiet they've been through all of this anyhow. Like,
I-
you would think that they would land a Catwoman suit reveal. Just like, hey, we weren't going to land this until, September, but fuck COVID, so here's this, like...
well, the person who's playing her, Zoe Kravitz, said the other day. She said that if this never happened, if they were still filming, that we would have seen that costume already.
Son of a bitch. That means they haven't filmed her in the costume yet.
Yeah, they have. She's filmed scenes,
What the fuck?
but she said that it would have been revealed, but they aren't really revealing much because of this.
Well,
they
they-
don't have
they-
much to go off of.
So they've just literally just paused. They pressed
Yeah.
pause on everything.
Yeah, and
They have the material to continue a promotion, but they're just like pausing.
they are allowed to start filming again right now. They haven't yet. I think Colin Farrell mentioned that that as he said, he doesn't know when specifically, but he says he's been hearing that maybe August they'll start shooting again, and that's if they don't decide to shut everything down again. But
Yeah.
right now they are allowed to film. But at the Fandom, I think it's I think they're gonna give us some details about the movie, and then I think they're going to reveal some costumes, and I think they're going to reveal more than just one character. But if I had to guess a certain thing, something that I'm like, I'll put money on them revealing this, is just the Catwoman costume.
Yeah.
And I would want them to reveal more, like Colin Farrell as Penguin. And
I'm scared of that one. That one's
me too.
That one's scary.
You see, it's complicated because at first I just thought it was going to be like, oh, they're doing like, because Colin Farrell's, he's not fat. He's
I'm not worried about that.
no, I know, but
I'm
like,
just worried about him looking out of place.
I just
He's got a couple uphill battles, in my opinion. Number one, he's Colin Farrell. Even as Bullseye and Daredevil, he looked like Colin Farrell playing somebody called Bullseye. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing Colin Farrell absorb into a character. I just see Colin Farrell playing characters. Does that make sense?
that makes a little bit of sense.
It should, like, Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, the movie Her. I'm fully immersed into that character. I don't even see Joaquin Phoenix anymore.
Right.
I see that character. With Colin Farrell, I always see Colin Farrell first. Will Smith, I always see Will Smith first.
That's a good example. I know more about Will Smith than Colin Farrell, so that's a good
I
example.
always see Will Smith first. But Will Smith draws you in with that Dwayne Johnson type of style,
You're right.
where his charisma and his confidence really draw you in, which is why I'm like, Dwayne Johnson's still. People might not get Dwayne Johnson fatigue.
That's a good point, because Will Smith was already in a DC movie, and he played not Deathstroke. He played Deadshot, and I liked him as Deadshot.
Right.
So that's
But
that's
he Will
actually a
Smith
good
it up.
point.
Same
Yeah.
with Genie.
I actually liked him as Genie. That's
But
the only good
everyone
part of
liked
that
him
movie.
as Genie. Everyone hated him as Genie until they saw him as Genie, and then he was the best thing in that movie because that's what he does. And I think Dwayne Johnson has that same charisma about him.
Yeah.
And that's well, not to go back to that conversation, but that's a good example of how all that pans out. But my point is, Colin Farrell, I always see Colin Farrell playing this character. And that's the thing I have the most concern about. So I even watched that one he did recently, Lobster. Very unique artsy film.
I've not seen that, but I know what it is.
Colin Farrell. I thought, oh, well, this will give me a chance to see Colin Farrell stretch his acting skills. He's a good dramatic actor, but I still see him. I don't see him fully immersed into a role. That's my concern with Colin Farrell being in that role.
I can understand that.
I'm sorry, but Danny DeVito set a bar. Like, when you're talking, like, I know that's a very askew Penguin, but fuck, man. He just, that's Penguin. You want a fucked up, like, just, I forget Danny DeVito is Penguin. It's just Danny DeVito, like, you just see Penguin, you know?
Yeah, and there's a lot to talk about his Penguin. At first, like, when the movie first started filming, there were set photos of, like, you couldn't see who it was, but it was someone in white hair, and he had, like, a black jacket on.
Yeah.
And everyone just assumed
him.
that was Colin Farrell, because Colin Farrell had white hair. But then he did an interview on Ellen.
It wasn't
And-
a bad assumption.
No, it wasn't. It made sense. I thought it was Colin Farrell. You know, like, and that's what I thought. I was like,
It
oh,
still
they're-
could be.
And I was like, oh,
By the way.
they're going with the slender, you know, like, you know, the slender, like, businessman Penguin, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Not businessman, but
He's always been a businessman.
yeah. But
Just a
And then
different, better looking, camera friendly
yeah.
Penguin. Yeah.
And then he was on Ellen, and he didn't have the white hair anymore. He said that he did the white hair for a celebration of finishing another movie, and then he was like, I don't start filming Batman for 2 more weeks. So then everyone was like, oh. And then, you know, 2 weeks passed.
I only did the
more
white
weeks
hair
passed.
for a celebration for another movie.
A movie that he had finished filming.
So he
I don't
did
know
it
what movie
to
it was,
celebrate that movie. I don't get that sentence. Like, was he blonde or platinum in that other movie?
No,
Or
I think
did
he
he
just
just
dyed
do
his
it-
hair because he could.
Or was he doing a camera test and he's just blowing smoke up our asses because he's under a contract where he can't say anything?
He never dyed his hair white again.
Well, yeah. I mean, fucking COVID.
They filmed for weeks after he said that, and like, you know, he said he starts filming in 2 weeks, and
I blame
proceeded.
COVID.
They proceeded to film for many more weeks after that, and then COVID hit. He never dyed his hair white again.
I guess I just don't trust Colin Farrell.
Yeah, you don't seem to.
Like,
But
the guy seems Weasley to me. I don't know. I don't know the guy personally, but I don't know. There's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. The only movie I really loved that he was in was the movie Phone Booth, which is way before your time.
But you know, I'm curious, what kind of Penguin are they gonna go for? Because we don't know, or we do know that was not Colin Farrell as Penguin. Yeah, but he does have a makeup artist, and like, this guy has done crazy makeup on people. You know, not just like, oh, you know, let's put on a little makeup there and boom, you're good to go. No, like, this guy puts on like prosthetics and stuff, like,
Yeah.
so people are thinking, are like, you know, what are they doing here?
They
Like,
have to give him something.
Is he gonna? Are they going with the nose? Are they gonna do like? Is he gonna have a fat suit? Like,
Yeah.
no one. We don't really know for sure yet. But with this guy that they got, and I don't remember his name right now, and I don't specifically remember the movies he worked on, but I've seen pictures of things he has done, and it's crazy stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if they gave him the fat suit and they put on, like, you know, to make him look fat on his face and maybe even the nose.
I would hope they're more creative than that.
Right. And
I would like to.
don't
I would
know,
like
I'm
to
okay
see
with
something
that,
like
as long
the
as it looks
Arkham.
good.
I would like to see something like the Arkham games.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Oh
Jeez.
shit! I'm pretty sure that was a firework, or somebody just got shot. One of the two. One thing that movie fans like to do is they like to take guesses at what's going to happen based on what they've already seen.
There's a little bit more to talk about with Colin Farrell, and you know, not like anything we've talked about yet, but like, it was believed for a long time that Penguin was going to be the main villain of this movie. and that has since been deconfirmed. We now know that the Riddler is the main villain of this movie, and it's been said that I think Colin Farrell himself said this. He only has a few scenes in the movie, so he doesn't have a major role. And another rumor is he's going to be played off as more of a good guy, which my guess is he'll be played off as a good guy at first, and then they'll reveal him as a villain. But he's only in the movie a little bit.
Or he could be one of those like good guys that accidentally find themselves in a villain role, but
I could see that
they don't mean to be, but they just kind of stuck in that moment now.
Yeah, my guess that could happen. But my main guess is that he's a good guy on the surface. Like when he's talking to like Bruce Wayne or something. He's a good guy. But below the surface, literally could be in the sewer. He's a bad guy, and there's not really much else to go on about the Riddler.
Yeah, that's like
he is the villain of the movie.
He's
the
like
main
the
villain.
he's like the elephant in the room. Like nobody's talking about him.
Right, and I'm excited for the Riddler because me and you were just talking about this, I think yesterday, about how
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, not just Jim Carrey, but how I think the Riddler deserves more recognition than he gets. I guess not his only, because he was in the '60s Batman, but that was a different time. The only one since then we've gotten is Jim Carrey, and that was 30 years ago. I just remembered there's a Gotham. I just remembered the Gotham Riddler. I'm just glad that the Riddler is going to be in this, because I liked him in the Arkham games, except for those stupid Riddler trophies. But like, I like
never ending.
Yeah, never ending. But I like the character. I'm glad that he's the main villain of this movie. So
well, that makes this movie have a possibility to be kind of a psychological thriller. All right, so the Batman panel.
They're doing a panel for the Flash movie.
Okay, that's neat.
I think.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm just like exhausted with the Flash movie right now.
Yeah, I understand that, but there's just a little bit I want to say about it. If they do get Michael Keaton, this is where it will be officially announced that Michael Keaton is, for a fact, going to be in this movie.
Makes sense.
As of right now, I guess it was revealed that Thomas Wayne is not in the script.
So no Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Unless they do. But he's still in talks, but yeah.
Unless they do put him back in. But as of right now, he's not in there. Which is unfortunate, because there's a scene, you've seen, we watched Flashpoint, the ending scene where Thomas Wayne writes a letter to Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And I think they should do that scene if they get Jeffrey Dean Morgan back. I only see that scene being, I'm going to say perfect. With Ben Affleck.
Yeah, Lantern 2814 and I discussed this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and we said the same exact thing. We were like, I said, you can't bring back Jeffrey Dean Morgan without bringing back Ben Affleck, because you have to have that scene.
Right.
You have to have that scene. That's iconic fucking scene. You have to have that. And even Lantern 2814 tried to bring up like an alternate way that could work. He's like, well, if he messes with the timeline, then maybe it messes with people's bone structures, and all of a sudden we have, Robert Pattinson Batman looking at I'm like, no, that's robbing the fucking audience.
If they do have Thomas Wayne, it has to be Ben Affleck if they do that scene.
If they do have Thomas Wayne in this movie, I don't think they'll be doing that full timeline. I think they might tease it for that to possibly happen in another movie.
Yeah.
Which would work. It would give us hope.
I think...
Or at least Jeffrey Dean Morgan in a Batman costume.
Yeah.
If not anything else.
I don't remember where I heard this. It was either another video I was watching, or it was something Lantern 2814 said. But Ben Affleck, I'm sure, would... that would be like not even a 5-minute scene.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ben Affleck would come back.
Yeah, Lantern
for that.
2814 did say that.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
like,
I didn't know
he's
if
like,
that
that'd
was
be
him or
his
something
cameo
else.
in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like it was really it would be really short. So I think he'd come back for that.
I have Flash exhaustion. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
exhausted with
Yeah,
getting excited about it. You know, and now this is the new thing to be excited about. Last year it was fucking director of It was gonna direct it. You know, like new exciting things, and then It failed, and you haven't heard shit about it since. Or It 2 rather failed, and like you haven't heard anything about it since. So like, It turned to shit.
There's just been so much Flash talk. Like you, I'm getting a little bit tired of talking about it, but not like, you know, I'm not like exhausted about it, but because I'm still talking about it here. The Suicide Squad is getting a panel.
I mean, it's done.
It's done filming, yeah. So I think we will get a trailer for the Suicide Squad at Fandom.
Where do you think this is gonna fit?
I don't,
Birds of Prey really fucked things up for me.
I don't know why. I think I just look at that as an Elseworld story, if anything. But, you know, I think it's canon with Suicide Squad. But, this new Suicide Squad movie is and isn't a sequel. It has some of the same cast members, but they're going for something completely different here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're bringing back Harley Quinn. They're bringing back Rick Flag for some reason. They're bringing back
The guy who looks sick the entire movie.
In the bar, he looked like he was holding back vomit while filming that scene. As soon as they cut the cameras, he just... So they're bringing him back, and they're bringing back Amanda Waller. And I'm pretty sure that's it. But the rest of the cast is just completely new. I mean...
Well, and that's kind of the point of the Suicide Squad thing, you know.
Like I said, it's a reboot, but it's also canon with the first movie. But James Gunn has said before, like, he does these Q&As on Instagram all the time. So, like, people ask him, they're like, well, do you need to watch the first one to understand the second one? And he's like, no, you don't. You don't need to watch the first one to understand this one at all. And, you know, obviously I assume they're going to go for a more comedic tone because, you know, James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy. So,
Yeah.
I assume it'll be comedic and stuff like that. More comedic than the first one.
First one was weird.
Well, that's because
Right.
something, yeah, you know the whole
Hashtag
situation.
release a David haircut, right? Which I don't even know how different that would actually be, but there seems to be like there might be a lot more difference than we thought.
Yeah, and that's similar to the Snyder situation in a way.
Well, honestly, I think the difference will be look at the fucking first teaser trailer, look at the last trailer,
Right,
and that's going to be your difference
Yeah.
of the haircut, and a lot more Jared Leto Joker.
He deserves a second chance. I didn't necessarily
Wow,
like
that's
him.
the first time I've heard you say that.
Really?
You've been a fucking Jared Leto hate train since I've known you your whole life. No,
Well, I don't...
well, since our first film trigger video was two
Yeah.
Jokers, one multiverse.
I still don't like Jared Leto, but I have to cut him some slack because he got like 5 minutes of screen time in that movie. So, I think if they did release the Air cut and he had like a lot more screen time, that there's a chance that I could see, you know, why he was hired for that role.
He's a
Or I
great.
could just not like him still.
Do you
in that
think we're
role
gonna
again.
see him in Suicide Squad?
This one? No, I don't.
Ugh, what a missed thing! What a missed opportunity. We're gonna have 2 Harley Quinn movies without Joker being in them because Warner Brothers is trying to clean up their mess.
Yeah, but my guess for this panel is I think we will get a trailer. My guess would be a teaser trailer, probably like maybe a minute long or something. But
Yeah, they better have a fucking trailer.
oh, I'm sure they're done filming. I'm sure
Right.
they'll have footage of
I mean,
some sort.
and what's Gunn been doing? He's sitting there with all that footage for the past 3 months, sitting at home.
Yeah, and you know they're working on it. They can work on this stuff from home. You
Right,
know,
I
like just
bet-
editing and stuff.
They
that can
better
be
have
done
a
from home.
fantastic trailer. They
Oh, I'm
better
sure it
have the
will.
best trailer.
I think
that
this
better
movie's-
take home the fucking entire fandom panel. Like that better
I-
be the one.
I think
They're the most prepared. They're the most everything
Yes, you're
that there
right.
is at this panel.
Well, maybe. There's still one other thing.
Who?
We'll get to that in a
What?
second.
Just tell me.
Snyder Cut. But I
Well,
know what
yeah,
you mean.
okay, yes, but I'm talking about new movie,
I know what you mean. That's why it's...
right?
But James, the Suicide Squad panel, trailer for sure. I'm sure that they'll finally reveal who the actors are playing, because they still haven't done that yet.
Specifically,
What? Idris Elba?
yeah.
Yeah, people want to know who Idris Elba's playing. A lot of people think Bronze Tiger. At first, it was like, oh, he's replacing Will Smith as Deadshot, but we know that's not happening now.
Yeah, but
And
even
they're doing that because, in case they can get Will Smith back.
right, but even when we thought that was a thing, people were like, okay,
Yeah, people were fine with it. Like
I can accept that.
they like Will Smith. They liked Will Smith as Deadshot. You know, he was like the scene stealer in those. You know, the two characters that were
Yeah.
like, you know, the two characters that people actually liked in that movie were Deadshot and Harley Quinn. Some people liked Captain Boomerang sometimes, but no one really liked anyone else.
Guy, what's his name? Captain Boomerang guy.
I don't remember his name.
It's guy something.
The actor,
Yeah.
Jai Courtney.
Jai
Is it
Courtney.
Jai Courtney?
Yes, Jai Courtney. I'll give him credit for that role because I didn't think he was a piece of shit in that movie. So that's
Yeah,
good.
a lot of people did like him, but everyone kind of agrees that Deadshot and Harley Quinn were like the two best characters in that movie.
Well, let's not forget the underdog, the best character in that fucking movie, Diablo.
El Diablo.
Yeah,
And how he doesn't die
R.I.P.
in the Ayer cut.
he doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Why the fuck did they kill him in not the Ayer cut?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
He doesn't. And also, I'm pretty sure. And just a little talk about the Ayer cut just a tiny bit. I'm pretty sure David Ayer mentioned at some point that Harley Quinn and Deadshot got together in that movie.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but that was just something I'm throwing out there real quick. But yeah, trailer. We'll probably get who the people are playing in the Suicide Squad. So that's just my guess for that panel. And
Yeah,
I think
I'm expecting the
if-
most besides the Snyder cut. I'm expecting the most from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because they're done filming. And I think if they do show a trailer, which I'm like, I'll put money on showing the trailer. I think this trailer will blow everything else out of the water because
Right.
I think there's real potential here. So, and I think this trailer is gonna blow everyone away.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it's not garbage. But
Or-
what if it comes out and it's like the worst thing we've ever seen? It's like,
Well, not even that. My biggest fear is that they're going to release a trailer and it's going to look just like a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
that's something. Yeah, I could see that, but I think he's got to do something different with it. And you know,
I think James Gunn is creative enough to do something different with it.
yeah,
I think DC or Warner Brothers rather is not creative enough to hire somebody to do something different enough with it. I think they hired him just because of Guardians of the Galaxy. Same reason why they brought Joss Whedon in.
here's the thing. They didn't. James Gunn chose Suicide Squad.
You're right.
He said that he was
Because
offered.
he's offered Man of Steel too, wasn't he?
He said that he was basically offered anything he wanted to do. James Gunn was basically offered anything he wanted to do for DC. He said that he was offered a Superman project. He said it was not necessarily Man of Steel 2, but a Superman project, and that's all he really said about it. So, but yeah, he chose Suicide Squad, which I'm not surprised he did, because he did Guardians, and people love Guardians. So, and,
He's also involved in Brightburn.
yeah, he didn't really do much for. He produced it, but he didn't
Yeah.
write it or direct it. He wrote and directed Guardians 2, not the first one. He directed the first one. He didn't write the first one.
Which is okay. First one was funnier.
I like the comedy in the second one. There's just something that there's one small complaint that I have, and it's like the super nitpicky, but I don't like how hard and how long everyone laughs at the jokes, because it
Like,
just makes
and-
them not so funny anymore. And that was really my only complaint about that movie.
It was
'cause I
like
think
the
it's a good
movie reminding you that it's funny. Like,
Yeah.
they felt like they needed to tell you, hey, don't forget how funny we are.
Yeah,
Remember how funny we were? Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and they laughed. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with laughing, but I'm just saying they laughed for like 30 seconds at every single joke. So
Yeah.
I didn't like that. But
Especially
like I said,
Drax.
that's just like a little nitpicky thing for that movie. And so I'm hoping they don't do that in Suicide Squad because he's good at comedy, but I don't know.
All right, so what else we got?
The last thing that they have on here, they have Wonder Woman 1984. That's not really much to talk about there. Maybe just a new trailer, but they have just Zack Snyder. It doesn't say Zack Snyder's Justice League. It just says Zack Snyder. So,
That's a man sitting on a mountain of questions right there.
oh yeah, we're definitely getting a trailer for Snyder Cut. Like, they've already released that one teaser that they had, and
they're going to show Darkseid in that trailer.
oh, of course, they showed Darkseid in the other teaser we got. So like
What do you mean?
the teaser, you know, they released a teaser, right?
Right, but you talking about the stone Darkseid, the one
No.
like that was on the stone?
No, I'm talking about Darkseid.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you?
Are you serious?
Oh wait, never mind. It was the one that we've already seen. It was been out for months. The one him
Yeah,
standing there in front of the fire beam. Thing.
yeah, except it was footage, not
The one that was
picture.
repurposed in the Justice League
Yeah.
movie. Okay, sorry. Yes, you're right.
We're definitely getting a trailer. Because
What do you think about Ryan Reynolds maybe being in the Snyder Cut?
I don't think anything's official yet. As far as I'm concerned, he has not filmed anything for it. If the rumors are true that he is in talks for coming back to Green Lantern, he hasn't filmed anything for the Snyder Cut yet. And I don't know, are they going to do not reshoots? Are they going to do stuff for that movie? Like, are they going to film more? Like, Zack said that he wants to film more and he has more stuff to film, but like,
Yeah.
we have not heard anything official about
I
them
think-
filming more scenes.
Yeah, I think even the contest, the winner of that one contest, the poster contest,
Yeah.
here you win the clacker for future scenes that could be filmed. Like, come on
Right.
now.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sure they'll eventually, but they kind of need to start getting, you know, cameras rolling if they're going to do that, because they said recently that they're shooting for an early 2021 release.
That's fine. I mean, honestly, the movie's pretty much done, and I really think that only shooting they need to do snippets of scenes.
I think if they got Ryan Reynolds back, there'd be a little bit more to film. As of right now, I don't believe the rumors of him coming back, but I hope he does.
I know that he's crazy enough to. I know that he would love to. I know that just because Ryan Reynolds seems like the type of guy like, oh, the movie that almost ruined my career? Yeah, I would love to revisit that because I love how everyone wants me to do that again. That's such a weird thing that's happened.
That's because people liked Ryan Reynolds in that movie.
No. No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Hear me out. People hated that movie and gave Ryan Reynolds a lot of shit for that movie. But now, people like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, so we want to see him in anything. And so everyone's like, you know what? We'll give him another shot. Bring him back as Green Lantern. That's great, yeah, because we love Ryan Reynolds. They didn't love him when that movie came out.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be his big break into, like, mainstream movies. What Lantern 2814 and I discussed was he was pretty much George Clooney in Batman and Robin. George Clooney, that was his breakthrough role in cinema, and it almost ruined his career, which he would have deserved because he phoned in that entire role. But Ryan Reynolds just did Ryan Reynolds stuff.
Yeah.
Another Will Smith example, another Dwayne Johnson example. He just kind of does himself. But
I think I have to disagree with that.
No, I disagree with myself immediately because he does extend himself out quite a bit. Voices being my
Yeah.
biggest example.
Well,
of
that and he was really good in Buried.
Yes, you loved that movie.
I did, because
Yeah.
that movie had me on the edge of my seat the
No,
whole
you're
time.
right. You're right. But there is a Ryan Reynolds quality. He could be that one Ryan Reynolds and fall into those categories. But he has such a more expansive talent that I don't
Yeah.
think is fully explored enough, you know?
Well, I hope he comes back. Like I said earlier, right now I don't believe 100% that he will, but I think it would be really cool if he did.
Well, I would rather have him than Mark Wahlberg.
Huh? What?
You don't know about that?
No?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg was, I don't know how to say the shoot in to be the Green Lantern for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, I think he was actually, like, showed up and read some lines and actually did, like, measurements for his suit and stuff.
That's I did not know that.
I mean, I could see it, but at the same time, Ryan Reynolds kind of wins those two there.
Yeah,
I could see it, but also Mark Wahlberg is another one of those. I want to show up and be Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, I have to agree with that one. He kind of does.
But
do
that might
a lot.
also be just Hal Jordan in general. You know, if that's the one that they're doing, Hal Jordan just might be that type of guy. You're, funny guy, everyman.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about the comics, and the most Hal Jordan I know is Ryan Reynolds. So that's what I'm going to hang on to.
So, yeah, I hope he comes back, but that'd be pretty cool because maybe he'd actually get to wear a suit this time. So.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not doing the animated suit. If he comes back, that's not going to be a thing.
His suit will, of course, have some CGI because it glows, but, like, there's no way they're making the whole thing. You don't think there's going to be any CGI on this suit?
No, I wasn't saying no to that.
Oh.
I was agreeing with you, like, no, they're not going to do the full
okay.
CGI
I got
suit.
confused. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
For everyone listening, I was shaking my head no while he was talking, and that's why he said that. But yeah, I was agreeing with you. Like, no, there's no way they're doing an animated suit. Yeah, of course, CGI on a suit, whatever, no big whoop. I mean, Superman's cape.
Yeah.
Fucking CGI.
That's a good example.
But like, there's a difference between using CGI to enhance a suit and using CGI to fully do something, which obviously does not work out very well often. Reaching back to Nightmare on Elm Street, the reboot, the CGI in that movie was just so overused.
Yeah.
And it could have been a lot better if it was mixed with practical,
Right. So, that's all there really is to talk about the Snyder Cut.
Right.
There's
One more
thing, and for some reason it's not on here, but I've seen it before. They had a topic, they had two that were called Secret Movie 1 and Secret Movie 2. Now,
That stresses me out.
I have some guesses. I'm hoping that it's actually like a new DCEU movie. I'm hoping it's not like, oh, here's this new straight-to-DVD Superman animated movie. That would... Come on. I think that would be, like... I don't know. That would be just disappointing everyone, because everyone saw it, so they're like... they want something big, not, some straight-to-DVD movie announcement. I'm not saying the animated movies are bad or anything, but, like... There's so many things it could be. Like, I see people... I see some people saying, like, oh, it's Justice League 2 and Justice League 3. No, like, come on, let's be a little realistic here. Like, oh, the Batman 2 and the Batman 3. Like, no, come on, like, let's be a little realistic. You look like you have a thought.
I disagree with you. You don't think
Yeah.
it's a realistic thing?
For them to announce both of those movies, like, there's so many things they could do. Like, they could do, they could go revisit the Nightwing movie.
No.
Oh, come on.
Seth, stop.
Stop
Listen,
what?
Listen.
I'm just thinking outside. I'm just thinking realistically and not like you.
I feel like this house is divided.
Right now it is because I don't know. It's complicated because, like, I can be sometimes convinced by you that the mouse stole from them, but at the same time, then I go back and think of it. I'm like, doesn't really make that much sense.
The biggest evidence behind it is Civil War.
Okay, I'll
They
give you that.
only pulled the trigger on Civil War because of Batman v Superman.
I'll give you that. But I don't know.
They
I think stealing
they
the whole,
changed their entire thing to compete with what Zack Snyder was doing by his second movie. Think about that. That's a thing.
Yeah, you're right. So I mean, I'll agree with that. But like, with that, I'm still
You're trying so hard to be independent right now.
No, I'm not, because like, I'll agree with that, but I don't agree with the whole thing about them stealing the entire plot of Justice League.
I didn't say the entire plot.
Well, you said main plot points, basically.
I'm sorry, yeah, and I will always try to convince you that's what happened, because I think that's what did happen. I think dirty deeds were done, and that's that.
Yeah, I can understand thinking that, but at the same time, I
In a world where Superman kills Zod by a neck snap and the world freaks out, and Thor cuts off Thanos' head and people love it, think about those two parallels for a moment. Anyway, alright. Beating a dead horse. What 2 movies do you think they could come out with? You said Nightwing?
that's something that I would want. Like, there's so many things that I want from this, but like, if I got to choose something other than Justice League 2 and 3 for that to be, I would choose Man of Steel 2 and honestly a Nightwing movie.
Where the hell would Man of Steel 2 go
I don't know.
at this point? What would happen in that fucking movie?
Brainiac.
They do need to bring Brainiac into this shit. He's way overdue in cinematic.
Yeah.
Nightwing would be good, but he really needs a setup movie. He needs something
I'll agree
to
with
kind
that.
of jump off of.
But I know what I would want for a Nightwing movie.
What?
I would want them to bring back I don't remember his name right now, but he played Deathstroke in Justice League. I would want him to be the villain of that movie.
Oh, the dude from who played Flash, the original Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash Thompson, by the way,
Thompson.
in case
Flash
people get
Thompson. Sorry.
confused.
Okay, so is there anything else when it comes to anything you want to talk about for our super special Seth's birthday's 2nd year anniversary outside 4th of July, lots of background noise podcast?
I'm just gonna talk one more thing about the Snyder Cut.
Ooh, okay, dude, you know I'm down. What's up?
There's kind of one thing in particular from that's making me say let's be realistic about them doing Justice League 2 and 3, and
What?
that's Ben Affleck.
Him coming back.
Him coming back. I think that's the one thing that could actually stop those from happening.
No, I think he'll come back. I actually have zero doubt that he would come back.
Really?
Yeah, I don't doubt it for a bit, because I think he wants to finish out that storyline.
With all of the articles coming out now, like we said before, it's rumors, but there's a ton of articles saying that he's coming back. Nothing, not like Hollywood
Somewhere
Reporter or
along the
Deadline.
line, there's a piece of paper that says there with a negotiation on it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm positive that they've at least asked him to come back.
Yeah.
Whether he decided to come back is a different story.
Oh, well, when actors decide to come back,
Money.
that's it. He's like, well, how much do you want me back? How many
lot.
zeros is on that check? Let's add another one.
Yeah.
That's how actors decide to come. Well, I mean, I'm speaking in generalities, but like, honestly, I don't see him hating that role enough to
Well, yeah. I don't think he hates that
not
role.
come back.
He said he lost passion for it. Not 100% sure how true that statement is, but
And if it was true, I mean, the guy was going through alcoholism.
right.
He was going through a fucking divorce. the movie that he wrote and was going to direct got shelved and then taken over, and then he was replaced by another actor. It was a fucked up moment, a fucked up time.
Yeah.
Now to come back to the beginning before things got mixed up and rectify that character and finish out the original arc that he signed up for, I don't see why he wouldn't.
I can get that. I still don't think the reveals are going to be Justice League 2 and 3, but you're right. You kind of won me over here. I think Ben Affleck could come back if they offered him the role.
Yeah.
And
I don't
if
see
I
why he
got
wouldn't.
to choose what happened here, like if I was the head of WB and Ben Affleck wanted to come back, everything I would choose to happen is get Snyder to finish his vision,
Yeah.
bring Ben Affleck, turn his script into an HBO Max series instead of a theatrical movie, because we already have Robert Pattinson's Batman coming. We don't need you don't need two Batman movies on the big screen at the same time. Turn his script into an HBO Max series, and to add a little something, give Cyborg his movie or series.
I'm sure Cyborg will get it. I think Cyborg movie will depend on how it goes with Flash, but no, I don't even want to see, as much as I would love to see it. I think Ben Affleck's script for the Batman is done. I think it's had its time to succeed. It's past that. I wouldn't want to see it even as a series.
I hope they
No.
release it someday.
I hope they release a script.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I hope they release a script, because they do that with a ton of other movies.
But it's past its time. Let it go. Let him finish out the arc. He's supposed to die as Batman in Zack Snyder's vision. Let him just die. Let the man die as Batman. There's not too many ways that you can die awesome, and dying as Batman is a pretty awesome way to die. So let him die as Batman. I don't condone killing Batman. It's not what I'm saying.
yeah, it'd be cool if they at least release a script, because They
Or
released-
maybe they're repurposing a lot of it for the Matt Reeves thing.
I don't think so. I
Probably
think maybe
not.
no, because
Probably not.
we know that Ben Affleck's script had Deathstroke as the villain, and Deathstroke is nowhere to be seen in Matt
Oh
Reeves'
yeah,
Batman movie.
you're right. He's like the only one not to be seen. Like they purposely not put him in that movie.
I'm sure they've borrowed things, because like, wasn't it said that Ben Affleck's Batman movie took place like in Arkham Asylum?
Yeah.
We know now that the Batman, some of it will be in Arkham Asylum. Like a good majority of that movie takes place in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
So
So they definitely borrowed some.
yeah, they borrowed some things, but
Yeah, well,
I'm
hopefully-
glad they didn't take his script.
Hashtag release the Ben Affleck Batman script.
That would be easy to just post it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad.
I know. They've released scripts before. It's somewhat hard to find, at least for me it was, but I found the script for Justice League Immortal.
Oh, the 2909.
I think it was
2009.
2009. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the movie that was canceled the day before it started filming. It's gotta be the
Could you
worst feeling.
That has to be the worst feeling in the world. What other movies were canceled the day before filming? Was it Friday the 13th?
That was canceled like just a few weeks.
Yeah.
It wasn't the day before.
Or just
it
right
was
before
like 2
filming.
weeks.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I wonder-
Imagine
I wonder
being
if those
like
people
that.
still got paid. Like,
I'm
some
sure
people-
they did. Nicolas Cage got paid. I'm sure they
Oh,
got.
he got paid for what? Superman Lives
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
He got $20 million, something like that, or like $10 million.
Wasn't it just $1 million?
I don't fucking know. He got paid $1 million something to not do shit. So, congratulations, fucking Nicolas Cage.
Well, he still technically got to play Superman.
Oh yeah, and the animated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny that they did that though. But imagine being the guy who's like, I guess his name, Armie Hammer. Imagine
Yeah.
being Armie Hammer. Like you get cast as Batman, and then like the day before you start shooting, they're just like, nope. And then he was rumored to be Batman in the new one. Like supposedly he was on like
A list.
a list
Yeah,
of
a
people,
list.
you know, with Robert Pattinson.
Well,
Armie
the
Hammer.
fact that they chose Robert Pattinson makes me feel better about it. If they would have chose Armie Hammer, it would have seemed just like a major backstep. Like, oh, we're trying to recreate something we had a long time ago. Like, I don't know. I haven't really seen Armie Hammer enough to merit his acting skills. Is there like a random baby just walking around the streets?
I don't know.
Well, the kidnapper must have heard me.
But I watched a snippet of an interview with Armie Hammer, and he was talking about Batman because they asked him if he wanted to come back for the Batman, and he said he'd love to come back. He said that would be
yeah, I know.
that'd be
Yeah, I've
awesome.
heard
But
that one.
but he was like, but I haven't had any
I read that one.
official conversations with people who could get me cast in that role.
Yeah, that's when you hear an actor say that. No, they're not coming back. That's We've beat this shit into the ground.
Yes,
I think.
we have. I'm done talking.
Yeah.
We're done anyway. I don't have
We're
anything else.
tired. I'm tired. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in our spectacular fun adventure second year anniversary / Seth's 16th birthday party jam that we had outside by the fire while fireworks are going on. You can't 4th of July more than that. We do 4th of July second anniversary the fuck out of this podcast. High five. That was a high five. COVID-19 friendly high five because we were wearing masks. Seth, end the podcast, please.
Hold on, I'm getting comfortable. Thank you, everybody, for listening to our podcast where we talked about DC for 4 hours, it feels like. Be sure to check out some of our other videos. And, as always, stay trigger happy, our friends. Peace.
Oh,
I tried.
you did. You did my outro.
I did your
You
outro.
did my outro. I feel honored.
Well, that's good.